Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Hunt Club Farm Facebook Live. Today's experiment, we are going to be making some rain clouds. So we'll get started in just a minute. I am going to go over the water cycle, if you aren't familiar with it, to show you how our process of making this experiment will happen. Hey Kim, thanks for joining. Hey Jen. All right, we'll get started in just a minute. If you are joining with kids, go ahead and comment their name below and we'll give them a shout out. Hey Angelo, thanks for joining us today for the experiment. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So for this experiment, parents, if you guys want to go ahead and get all of the ingredients ready and the kids can hang out at the computer or the tablet or phone for just a minute and learn about the water cycle, you will need a large vase or a jar 3/4 of the way filled with water. You'll also need food coloring and shaving cream, and that is it. Did you know that the water that you drank this morning when you woke up is the same water that woolly mammoths, King Tut, and the first humans drank? That's because the earth has been recycling water for over 4 billion years. So it all starts with a thing called the water cycle. We're going to talk about evaporation right here first. So the energy from the sun heats up the surface of the earth, causing the temperature of the water to rise in the rivers. When this happens, some of the water from right here in the river starts to evaporate into the air, turning into a gas called vapor. So the sun heats up the water, causing all of this lake and water to heat up. Hey Parker, thanks for joining. Hey Andy. So after the water vapor rises high into the sky, it cools down and turns back into a liquid, forming clouds. So that's when we go from evaporation to condensation, is when that vapor rises and turns right back to a liquid, which forms a cloud. And this process is actually called condensation. Just like the ocean. Hey Britt, hey Roman, thanks for joining us this afternoon. And just like the ocean, the currents high up in the air move the clouds around the globe. And if you didn't know, the water cycle is also called the hydraulic cycle. So if you're just joining us, welcome to our 11 a.m. Facebook Live. Today we are doing a rain cloud experiment. So I am talking about the water cycle right now. We did go over the evaporation when the water heats up and evaporates into the air. And then it comes up to the clouds through condensation. And then from the condensation of precipitation, that's when the experiment is going to come into play. So precipitation, this happens when too much water has condensed. The water droplets in the clouds become too big and heavy for the air to hold on to them. So from condensation to precipitation. This is the part right here that we will be going over today. Precipitation. How did we get to this stage in the water cycle? We're going to take the food coloring and it's going to evaporate, and then it's going to condense and into the clouds. And once it builds all the way up, it's going to precipitate and come through and into the water. And then, of course, after precipitation, it goes right back into the collection stage. And this is what happens after all the water comes out from the cloud and goes right back into all the lakes and the rivers. So for this experiment, the kids are going to learn the water cycle. So when the water droplets evaporate and collect into the cloud, they get heavier and heavier. Eventually, that cloud's going to become too heavy to float on the air, which is our water. So the water droplets will fall to the ground. So let's go ahead and grab those ingredients. I'll give everyone just a minute. We need a jar of water. We also need food coloring. All right, so there's my jar of water. This is the one that we did do earlier. So it is a little murky right now, but we are going to start over. As you can see, all of the water droplets began to form inside of the cloud. All right, so let's go ahead and take that shaving cream and give it a big shake. Parents, make sure your jar is at least 3/4 of the way filled. The next part is going to be very important for the experiment to go off. Of course, our clouds in the sky are not touching, so you do want to leave a little space in between each of the clouds that we will create here with our shaving cream. So when you do it, go ahead and start on the outside. Creating little splurts, and these are going to be your clouds. Make sure to leave a few holes in between, because of course all the clouds in the sky are not touching each other. And here we go. This is our cloud right now. I did the outside ring, and then I left a little for the inside, and then I filled in the middle. Hey, Michaela, thanks for joining. All right, so go ahead and grab the food color. You can use any color that you want. I'm gonna start with blue because that is the color of rain. All right, and when you do drop it, let's go ahead and start that cloud buildup. Hey Jenna, thanks for joining. So here the water evaporates, and then it's condensing and into this cloud. And as all of the rain droplets form into the cloud, it's going to get heavier and heavier, where it's eventually going to precipitate. So as you can see right now, the blue and the green got really heavy, and then it began to precipitate. Uh-oh, looks like we got red over there. It's beginning to rain. Hey Jenna, I miss you. Thanks for joining. So the food color is acting just like the water cycle. So when these food coloring drops, when they evaporate and they start collecting right there into the cloud, the clouds, which are the shaving cream, they are going to get heavier and heavier. They're going to eventually become too heavy to float on the water, which all of this represents the air that the water falls down into. They're going to become too heavy so that the water droplets begin to fall. And again, this represents the sky. So all of this is the water that is coming down onto Earth. Let's go ahead and give it a turn. All right, let's see if we can create some more blue. Let's see if this one fall. Oh, there we go. So as you see, I only did 2 drops, so just a little precipitation. But once it starts building up and onto that cloud, it's gonna fall right through. So one of the animals on the farm that actually is kind of like a meteorologist, like a weatherman, are our goats. They can sense when the rain is coming, and you will not see them inside of their goat enclosure. You'll actually see them inside of their run-in shed. So goats do not like rain, and when we know a storm is coming, you'll find them in the run-in shed before it even starts raining. A few announcements for everyone before we hop off today. I will be live on Coast Live tomorrow on Channel 3 at 10 a.m. We will be zooming into the studio to talk about our summer camp with April Woodward. So be sure to hop on Coast Live, WTKR.com, and watch us live on the live stream. Summer camp is also still underway with applications, so be sure to go on our website, huntclubfarm.com, hover over the education tab and click summer camp. Everything about dates and prices and what's involved and included in camp can be found there. Remember that Bedtime Stories with Conrad is tonight at 8 p.m., so tune in while you get the little ones asleep if you need a few minutes to yourself. And then be sure to continue to tag us in your photos, whether they are new photos from the farm or they're old photos. We would still love to see them and for a chance for you to be featured on our social media. So be sure to either send them via DM or on our page under a comment section. Thank you so much for joining us for another experiment on the farm at 11 a.m. And we will see everyone tonight at 8 p.m. while you get the little ones to bed. Have a great day and remember to social distance. Bye, Kim. See ya.